What is up, everybody? This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your live market chat for Thursday, February 29th. Leap year, 3 p.m. Hopefully you're doing amazing. Let's get into it. Hopefully, again, you are familiar with what's going on currently. Last 3 business days of the month. Last day of the month is today. Want to do this live chat just to kind of see where it ends up, because you can make the case either way. Choppiness, I mean, it's interesting to see what's lagging, what's leading, what's chopping around, all sorts of fun stuff. So as you might expect, if you've been familiar with trading and just the market cycles, and if you have the Stock Traders Almanac, it says a big bearish day. However, the first trading day of March is typically bullish. I mean, it says 18 of the last 24 have been up. I mean, that's basically how long I've been trading, for about 24 years. So not surprised that I remember that day. Not surprised, right? Are you? If you're, again, Stock Traders Almanac, you're like, what are you talking about, Willis? Here you go. Right there. Here, and I'll drop the link into the chat. Definitely well worth it, because, again, it's one of those things where if you haven't used it, hey, let me see if I can just copy the link there. If you haven't used it, thought about it, it's pretty important, because, again, it's not always perfect. It's not always perfect, but it's a nice guide. So just waiting for people to funnel in. Leave some comments below. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. Again, I love to do these open chats just to kind of go over what everyone's thinking, talk about the action, and just proceed from there. If you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. Here, I'll drop that in the chat as well. Had some folks hit me up about, again, real estate on the Calendly. Again, I appreciate all of that support. Snow. Oh, we'll talk about the snow. Yeah, we will talk about the snow. So if you're new to the channel, Discord room, links below. Website, check it out. Let me just put that in. Again, I'll just drop some of these links in the chats. If you're ever going back through this and you're like, what was he saying? What? Hopefully you remember the tradingagent.com. That one's pretty simple. But again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because if you get the notification bell, you'll know when we're doing these live chats. And again, here you go. Talked about it. First and last 3 trading days of the month. There's 52 education videos. Again, if you have a question that's related to education, you're not sure, drop it in there. Follow on Twitter. Man, pretty interesting seeing everything that's going on. Again, it's one of those things. Last day of the year, leap year, right? Like being March 1st then. I mean, that's the question, you know. That's a good one, Shannon. But typically, again, last day of the month is typically a position squaring day. And that's where it's getting real interesting. You know, like let's start with Bitcoin. You know, I told folks, like, you got to be careful with these straight line moves. Where is it going to stop? Hell if I know. Going into a long weekend, I don't know. It's interesting watching, like, say, the micro strategies and some of these names. Like, they're all over the place. But you're coming into some, like, really big levels up here. Hey, what up, Joe? What up? So are we going to break out? I mean, that's the thing. Your guess is good as mine. But these straight line moves, I mean... Here, let's go back into the past, because this is when stuff got really just silly, right? Every straight line move at some point found a pullback, right? Like, so look for reference, right? And now you're looking at this and you go, oh, let's get to the current moment. You're like, okay, could it go a little higher? Could it retest highs? Absolutely. I told people, just be careful. I mean, it makes sense to me if you actually want to short it. Like, this volume... I mean, if people are saying it's going to the halving, I don't know, man. I just know that there's a lot of liquidity to unload into, because if you go look at the Twitter, I mean, it's just like, I mean, I could go through my tweet and it's like Bitcoin. What is this, Venezuela? Oh, God, Colorado. Let me see how long it would take to go Bitcoin post. Oh, now I'm asking for it, X, and you won't do it. Sorry. Yeah, well, I saw about a dozen of them as soon as I opened up. It's interesting. They're showing on my phone versus here. People are like, oh, there's nothing out there. It's like, yeah, here you go. I mean, I'm seeing these a lot of. And that's just the nature of it, right? At the highs and lows, people get real excited. Real excited, right? So keep it on it. Again, I personally, again, I've said the easiest time will be when the Feds pump liquidity into the markets and cut at this point, I don't know if they're going to do that anytime soon. It's really hard for them to do that with the way that GDP is acting. I know we talk about like this, diverging economy. You got to be careful. You got to be careful, y'all. So Bitcoin, we talked about oil. Man, the Fed's got to be kicking themselves. They're like, please, oil drop. Like, natural gas, if you traded that, I mean, that's been a good one. KOLD, I know, what is it up? Like, what? A couple bucks today. But if you got in at the KOLD, I'll show you guys. Up here, we talked about multi-day ranges. I mean, you're looking pretty good. And if it holds here, not surprising. But this thing is a decay beast. What a gift. What a gift. Speaking of real estate, holy crapola. I mean, the data is just not good. And now people say, oh, bad data is good for the market. Yeah, okay, at some point. But in my mind, I'm seeing it. Like, again, he talks about the highest rise in listings. I mean, I was walking through my neighborhood and it was like, holy crap, look at all the signs popping up. And it's like, uh-oh, competition, and there's no buyers. I told you guys, if you are looking to buy real estate at some point, this is the time. Start thinking about it. Again, don't pull the trigger right away. It's time to start getting, ready. And then ready meaning, all right, when all these houses go up on the market, depending on where you're at, again, every real estate's local. Depending on where you're at, there might be some great opportunities to snag some houses. And if you are looking to sell, you've got to price your house right. You got to have a great agent. You got to do everything you can possible to get the name out there. And so we're going into the buying season, but it also is bringing in some sellers. So that's just, be aware of that. Because, again, great time. And everyone said, when's the best time to sell? Well, it's probably going to be now, coming up, because, again, going into the season, people are shopping and moving. But it also is going to bring out the inventory. So this is where, again, you have a great property, you list it correctly, you'll get a ton of views, you'll get people buying. If you have a property that you did not prepare correctly, you overprice it, you do a multitude of things, you might get stuck. And that's what I've seen some clients who I'm just reaching out, I'm like, how's that going? They're like, yep. Listed our house a week ago. We have one showing. It's like, okay, what's your agent doing? Oh, they said just wait. This market's slow. And it's like, no, if you price it quickly, you will get showings and you will get offers. And if you don't, that's, again, price range matters, right? If you're looking at the high end of range, it's always going to be a little harder. There's less buyers. But if your house is at the low end, medium of range, meaning like, for example, like in Denver, you're in the 400, 500 below, and you're getting no showings, that says a lot. If you're in the luxury market, you get a lot of showings and a lot of views on Zillow. I mean, you're waiting for one great buyer. You'll probably find it. Maybe you'll get one sooner than later, especially coming into the season. So I appreciate all the love and support. If you need any help with that, do not hesitate. No hesitation. Let me drop the Coulling link. I think people are like, oh, I don't know. All right, well, here it is. No excuses. No excuses. Oh, come on. Get it. Get it. There we go. Dropping it in 3, 2, 1. Dropping it. All right, so let's go through the market, right? Let's just get into it. KOLD we talked about. I'm adding Pan W, which we talk about. Anything that Nancy's going in on I'm gonna be paying attention. Palo Alto, interesting action up here coming into this 320 area near term. Who knows how much higher it goes, but near term, not surprised. It's chopping snow. People were talking about that guy, and it's like, look where it's getting stuck. Zoom out. Look at this. Big resistance here. Oh, geez, it's like, come on, stick. Oh, there we go. Gaps down. Not good. Not good. And so you're like, all right, well, what about some like winners? It's like, okay, let's go to AMD. Okay, breaking out. Channel highs. We'll see if that's a breakout or a fake out in a couple of days. Again, I mean, the close could get hairy. And when I say hairy, like position squaring, you never know. Again, in my mind, I honestly thought when I woke up today, I was like, look, the futures are down. And we're up on PCE data that was less. And then you go looking, like you go dig deeper, and it's like, it's not that good. Again, sticky inflation. Feds want to lower rates if they can go into an election. I mean, be careful. Just do yourself a favor. NVIDIA, watching this one, like, again, because this should be like on fire, right? End of the month. Everybody piling. It's like, Been watching it all day on the 10-minute off and on. Chop. Look at the open. They pump this thing. Ooh-wee! And it's like, and now you're right back to kind of middle of the ground. Middle ground. Ten cuidado. That's all I can say. Micron, we talked about this pumping. Nice work. I mean, it's, again, pretty clear to me. Clear as day. Somebody doesn't really want to buy it up here. They look to be unloading it. SMCI. All right, here we go. We talk about, again, choppiness after big moves, straight line moves. Okay. If the market's holding up, do you think these names will actually get crushed? Probably not. I mean, I'd be watching this 1007 area if you want to do anything. Good old Tesla. Everyone says the gap's going to fill. Okay. I mean, you got a multi 3-day range. We'll see. It just looks like a dead bounce pennant. How much higher, further, longer can this go? Your guess good as mine. SMH gifts. Look at this. Okay. Let's see. Gap up. Financials have been kind of flopping around all day. Pops up. Gives it back. Goldman, little stinky here. Looking at this guy like, hey, looks at every time. Turning it right back around. KRE getting a little pop. I mean, are you surprised? I mean, I don't know. We've talked about this. No doubt fail zone. Trash floats last. Pops up. Looks like it's going to break out. We'll see about that. I don't know. XBI put this on a red alert. Said, this straight line move up is a little dangerous. Some of the homies in the Discord room said left-right combo. It's looking like it. We talk about these gaps after big moves. And again, you just don't know when they're going to turn, but they're not sustainable. Right? And that's where we look at the SPY and you go, interesting. Okay, well, we'll see what happens up here. The SPY gap, talk about like big gaps. I mean, that's the thing. At highs, how about March 2020? I mean, this gap at the highs, just chopping around, trying to hold. IWM popped up today, got up to 206, was watching. It was like, no shit, isn't it? We'll see. Again, I mean, when you zoom out, you're like, oh, this thing's been lagging forever. Just lagging. Yawn. We'll see what happens here. Gold. Some folks talked about oversold rally. We talk about it. Probably do. This gap up today. Man, this is just painful to watch gold and silver. But if you traded the miners, you had a good trade. I can't argue that. We had reference points. People took them. Silver, I dig it. Again, I dig the trade, meaning like, all right, makes sense. It's just you have this gap up. You want to see more follow through in the oversold position. But I've warned, and I'll go on record again. I mean, the easiest trade will be when the Feds pivot, but also nothing goes down in a straight line. And so you trade it how you want. I personally would just say, you get good trade. How much higher can it go? I don't know. Raise your stops. If you want to trade around it, say you had, just hypothetically, just playing with numbers, 100 shares, you sold 50 of them today, and you're like, all right, I'll see what happens here. And if it pulls back and it holds, like builds a support, and it looks like it's going to go a little higher, great. And if it's not, I'm setting my stop at my entry. I can't lose, winning on that 50 shares at least. Keep it simple, stupid. Taiwan Semi, we talked about this being a dog. Ruff, 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 ruff. Not surprised. Chopping around. I don't know. It's holding on to the channel. Intel, as we said, looks like it's got to go. It's got to go. Holding and chopping. Yeah. No, I mean, so Joe's asking about GDX. And this is the thing, like, when you see bottoms like this into the end of the month, oversold rallies, I mean, it's just hard because if you've traded this for any period of time, not the 10-minute, you struggle with this because you've seen it and you've seen the absolute pain when the VIX spikes, miners just get destroyed. Right? And it's one of those things where trade it as you want. But I've seen, again, and this is something that I'm not new to, and being in miners and be like, oh, they're cheap. And then seeing stuff happen and go, whoa, they got cut in half, another 50%, and was like, it made 0 sense. And it was just like, well then, alrighty then. Time to back it off, right? Like, it just is what it is. CRM had earnings. It was down, up, I mean, all over the place. We'll see about that one. Roblox, we talked about chop, fizz, but relief it is. Netflix, I mean, the 600, I mean, I'm amazed anyone's buying this thing. Like, this gap feels sneaky, and then you gap up this morning and no follow through. Meta's been holding up pretty well. Credit where credit's due. Trying to get to that 600 level everyone's talking about. The Amazonian, chopping up Apple. It's like, just trying. Come on, find some buyers here. I mean, you've got to hold this level. You got to do it. Solar, some folks talking about some bullish stuff in the space. I mean, again, bullish based on near term, not surprised. These things are just dead money. And as we've said, you got to wait for pops to short these things. And I know Congress, I think they talked about passing another budget, kicking the can down the road till March 22nd. It's like, oh, here's the 200-day. Not surprised. First solar all over the place, post earnings. Multi-day range. Okay, keep an eye on it. Adobes, as we talked about, double topping, dropping, chopping, holding around these levels. At this point, again, I'm trying to think the best way to describe it. Just be careful. TLT really trying to get over this 94 area. Is it get over the 20-day? Get it? We'll see. It's been in a tight range. Very tight range down here. Just last, I don't know, week and a half, 2 weeks. Keep an eye on it. Any other thoughts, concerns? Watching XOP, it's like, hey, you going to break out? Last day of the month. You got it. Come on. You got it. We'll see. New core. You got it. Come on. You going to go? It's interesting. A lot of these connected channels all of a sudden showing up when I started doing a little more drawings. So just, be careful. Be thoughtful. Be safe. I know a lot of people are just, I think the thing is, personally, I know, again, I get a lot of comments, obviously, from the folks who are just hilarious. And it's like, they're like, all in, bullish. All in, gotta go. And it's like, all right, okay, well, and it's kind of like a team sport, mentality, right? If you own, and see, a lot of people will be pissed. I say, you own Bitcoin, you're on team Bitcoin. You're like, go. And you start believing I can't go any lower and it can only go high. Okay. Okie dokie. That's where, that's dangerous. So any thoughts, questions, concerns? Watching some names, but really don't have, again, you can load, I think Sox is down here. You get people oh, what's the bottom? I don't know, man. You can sell some calls against it if you got bored and you were I think it's stuck here, which I think a few people did. Not surprising. FAS looks interesting. It all looks interesting, but it's when does it go? I don't know. Maybe it needs to get through tomorrow. Maybe, baby. That's hard. And this is the thing, here's for example, Goldman, you never want to see this, but what if this is what the market had to do, or is doing, and now it's kind of just choppy action, sloppy, some names up, some names down. It's just infuriating. I get that. But that's the nature of the beast. FedEx, I was noticing, all right, it's popping. It's going to be a beast to get through that 200, 100 day. So put that on your radar if you'd like. I was looking at Caterpillar. It's okay, got over that 330 area. Here we go, coming back into the highs. Watching for the double A top. Right, watching for it. Let's just draw the arrows as a joke. There you go, that's fun. Ag names kind of slopping around. Doing okay. It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. Just curious. Looking at that. A lot of people are talking about this a dividend play. I remember people were I got to buy this thing. And it's okay, nice work. Great dividend, 25 cents. Some of the people who bought it up here are just, again, and I'm not trying to troll people. I'm yeah, they bought it at 60 and they're, it's at 52 and paid a 25-cent dividend. Well worth the $8 loss to get that 25 cents though, right? Good it. Just looking at the IYT again. This has been chopping up pretty well. It's back up near the all-time highs, which again, it's man, what economy are we living in? Because the one I see and the one I feel and one I deal with, when I talk to people daily, not feeling so hot. Now, again, that's why we say the market isn't the economy, and the economy isn't the market always, but it's at some point they kind of have some sort of polarity to pull each other. It's okay, well, end of the month, maybe it's a game. I want to look at ARC. I haven't paid attention. This one's kind of always funny. Look at this. Any other thoughts, questions? Got any names? Love to look over. Have I missed anything really out here? Microsoft. 409. No, it's at 409. It looks like a little head and shoulder top. Guggenheim. Everyone trying to be a hero on this one. It's oops. Okay, we'll see it. If it better hold for the hero types. To me, it feels like a leader down. Exelon Motors. I don't know. I always think of like Exelon, but it's Exxon. I know. Chopping around. Oxy. Buffett. It's just like every day. Sell calls. Sell puts. Sell calls. I mean, man, I imagine you could. Maybe that's actually the easiest way to get rich is just sell options against stocks that Buffett's just selling them against. Maybe that is like the hack. That's all you got to do. Just get enough capital and just do that. Oh man, a little tired. Been kind of tired the last couple of days by a lot of, fortunately, not sleepless nights, but just dealing with shit that unfortunately just is what it is. Not sleeping as well. You can hear it in my tone. Sound tired. Try to pick up the energy. That's what I was saying. If you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, please chime in. It's just I wouldn't call it the dog days, but it's like the snoozer days as we wait. Some people are bullish. Now, again, it's funny, like reading it, and again, as somebody who could trade AMD forever, always laugh at the bulls on this thing. Cool. I hope it, again, I'm interested to see what happens here. Because, again, it's like you can see stock twits, like they're all jumping in. They're like, yes, yes, go, 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 go. And it's like, okay, you're chasing it today. Good work. Buena suerte. MicroStrategy. Oh, I forgot MicroStrategy. But Bitcoin, look at this, You're getting all these gaps and big volume again. It's like, wow. I mean, I'm curious who's buying into this up here. Now, again, if everyone's like, Michael Saylor, got to do. Okay, well, how high can it go? I mean, we've seen this before. And then it gets clogged out. I mean, where are we? Are we in this stage or are we in this stage? Question. Concerns, thoughts. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with AMD either. Let me double check. Double checkers. No real news. So, not on my front. I mean, I guess you could pull up the Twitter and type in AMD, and you probably. I wish they had like a survey, kind of like stock twits. Let's see if there's any newsers. Okay. All right. Well, Citigroup at the highs. Nice. It's funny because, yeah, we talked about this, Eric, and you made this, you pointed this out as well. Like, the CEO is just like, sell. It's okay. All right. Okay. We'll see about all that. All right. Well, we got, man, it's only been 20 minutes. I feel like it's been talking for like an hour. That's funny. Come on in. Chime it in. I wrote what? Yeah, exactly. From the 1800s. Yeah, again, whether you're go woke, go broke, Gemini, Google. I know what they're trying to do, but it's like, come on, guys. Those were not senators from the 1800s. Oh, Google, you're fun. Any other thoughts, concerns? Watching some of these names just chop around last hour. Was trying to kill some time. Watching the GDX. It's like, look at this. It's like, oh, we're good. All right, there you get your retest. Boom. No, that's the thing. All of these AI platforms that are woke. I was listening to this interview of this girl talking to somebody, and they were like, slavery, white people have never been slaves. And it's like, do you not realize Slavics, that's literally where the term came from? Do you know what, again, I don't want to get into races, all that kind of stuff, politics, but it's been pretty normal. It's normalized through all the years. it's like, man, kids don't even realize this. Don't even realize what history is being rewritten. It's okay. Yep. And that's the thing. I use AI to answer your questions, and it's like, oh, the AI is got a bias. That's not good. That ain't good. No good. No bueno. Insight. Watching this one. Telling you, if this thing gets bought out, I would not be surprised if something happened. I mean, there's so many names. It's like CCJ just holding there. Come on. You got to go. You got to go. So, all right. Well, I'll probably wrap this up then if there's not really many comments. I mean, don't be surprised by anything into the close. I mean, if it's a squeeze, I wouldn't be surprised by tomorrow a gap and trap. And then if it actually pulls back, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by a morning pump either. Some sort of pump package. When AI uses real data, no biases, people don't like the outcome. Right, Joe? And, you know, someone said something to me yesterday that I thought was really fascinating. And it said, if the headline is 60% true, people will believe it. And I started thinking about that, right? And when I mean, in my mind, I thought about like partial truths get people to believe the whole story, right? Because it's easy to focus on a part, like, well, I mean, this is true, I guess, but yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. And it's like, is that right? So anyway, yeah, just thinking about that, like partial truths really get people wrapped around the axle about, well, the whole thing's true. And it's like, you know, yeah, story is the key word. Yeah, news stories. Story. It's just hard, you know. And again, I think talking about this stuff helps people see kind of the truths behind everything. Because again, if you want to believe A, B, C, D, E, F, G is right, you can choose your own opinions, but you can't choose your own facts. And that's where dialogue is by far the most amazing thing possible out there. Because if you and I don't agree, we should be able to dialogue about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's funny. Some people believe it's like 20% true. Yeah, like, again, you could talk about Ukraine, the border, everything going on in the world. And you're like, well, it seems a little true. And then it's like, well, let's dig into it. And it's like, there's a lot of fugazi, a lot of joke in it, a lot of junk. And it's like, your guess is as good as mine on the truth. But, you know, if a lot of people say, oh, the border is fine. It's like, man, I'm living in Denver, and Denver is just getting flooded with illegal immigrants. And, like, no one cares. Our city's going to go bankrupt, which they won't. They'll get a bailout from the federal government. Not too worried about that. But it's like, what do you do with all these people? You know, just let them in, let them cross the border. Probably 90% of them are, 95 are probably great, but then undocumented criminals just running. I thought I saw something, again, story. Is it fact? They're saying some of the crime in some of these like South American, Central American countries that like lows because all the criminals are doing what? They're getting out of there. They're going where the big business is. But maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Who the hell knows? Who knows? 20%, yeah. It's one of those things where you don't know what the facts are. And that's where people stick to their values and beliefs first. And do you have to agree with everything that's out there? No. What's mainstream? Again, mainstream, that whole groupthink, that stuff is sketchy. Meaning, like, it's because everyone thinks something's right doesn't mean it's right. What are your values? What are your values? All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, too. DM me. Don't hesitate to reach out. You got any questions about the markets? Again, I mean, watch the close. I was just going to sit here and watch the close, do some reading. And, I was going to hang out. But it seems like 30 minutes left, not much cooking. All right, you guys have a great afternoon. See you in the market review or in the Discord room. Peace, y'all.